Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. Want to take you guys through 10 really solid PC game deals under the price of $10. Now, this is not going to be from Steam. This is from our good friends at Green Man Gaming, Fanatical, and GamesPlanet. They give you various keys depending on the game that you buy. The majority of these are Steam keys. We have, I believe, one game that is a Uplay title, Ubisoft game, but we'll get to that when we get to it. A lot of good stuff, so let's get right into it. Links to everything, as always, in the description box below. If you buy anything, I do get an affiliate commission. That is much appreciated. But first of all, we have the Deus Ex Collection, which is 87% off for $803. This includes nearly every Deus Ex title ever released on PC. That includes the Game of the Year edition of the original. You've got the director's cut of Deus Ex Human Revolution, you've got Deus Ex Mankind Divided, Invisible War is in there, and then also Deus Ex The Fall is in there. I'm sure you guys love that one. That was the mobile game that also had a release on PC after a while. It's not very good, but it's just included in here. You also get the DLC for the respective games, so that's pretty nice. Deus Ex, the original, obviously shows its age, but it's still nice to have. Invisible War, nice to have as well. Those games go very, very cheap, but Human Revolution and Mankind Divided is where the real value is, in my opinion. I know some people love the original, but Human Revolution is tremendous, and then obviously Mankind Divided, not as good as Human Revolution, but still a fairly solid game that I would certainly recommend you to play through. For $803, this is a really good pickup. Definitely check that out. Next up, we have XIII Classic. This is the original 13 release, not the remake that was an abomination. 13 is a very stylistic, cel-shaded first-person shooter. It's got a great look. The real strength of this game, in my opinion, is the gameplay and the visual style, but you have a decent story in there as well, and aesthetically, it just looks fantastic. It's a game a lot of people grew up with. I personally didn't. I played this way later just because it became this cult classic that a lot of people talked about, and I did play the remake, and the remake was an absolute abomination, but I do know the remake has also been updated, but even then, I would just check out the original for $1.20. That's kind of crazy, so I would definitely check that out. Next up, we have Nioh Complete Edition. That is 80% off for $9.89. A Souls-like here that's incredibly challenging to the point where, Nioh was a game that actually, frustrated me at certain points, but it is a super slick action-oriented title. A lot of cool enemies and boss battles in here as well. I think visually it looks great, and the soundtrack and sound design is quite good as well. If you're into challenging Souls-likes, Nioh is a game you should probably check out. It initially came out on PC at $50, well after the PlayStation 4 release, so at this price point, it's a much more warranted pickup. With the DLC, $9.89 is not bad. Next up, do want to give a shout to the Tomb Raider titles that are on sale over at GMG. I mean, these games are titles that I talk ad nauseum about, but for those of you that haven't picked it up, Tomb Raider 2013 is $258, Rise of the Tomb Raider is $516, and then Shadow of the Tomb Raider is $860. All of the three games are worthwhile playing, and I would play through all of them. If you had to pick one, again, I always say that ROTR is the best of the entire franchise, but your opinion may vary on that one, but yeah, ROTR is great. SOTR is quite good as well, and Tomb Raider 2013 is a pretty short game, but still a worthwhile playthrough. Next up, we have Far Changing Tides. This is the follow-up title to Far Lone Sails, but you can also play this, no problem. It's an atmospheric vehicle adventure that follows the emotional journey of a boy and a ship as he embarks on a voyage to find a new home. It's got this super drab and dark art style that I find incredibly compelling comparatively to a lot of other games that drop. This is a super unique visual presentation style, and it is very much focused on its adventure and atmosphere aspects, so just keep that in mind. It's not an action-heavy game or anything like that, but try it out for yourself. I wouldn't say, spend the full $20 on it, but at $6.72, it's a unique game that a lot of you guys, I think, will find pretty enjoyable. Next up, we have Blacksad, Under the Skin. Now, this is a game that was recently free on GOG, but I know some of you guys don't even pick up the free games outside of the Steam releases, so if you do want to pick this up at $3 and change, I think it's a pretty good pickup. It's very much a story-driven detective mystery game. It's not something, again, any action-heavy gameplay, but if you're a fan of the Telltale titles, this is going to be right up your alley. You've got a cool main character, you've got an intriguing mystery-based story, a new story within the Blacksad world set in the comic book series' unique world, perfectly recreated for gamers, an investigative narrative game with gameplay combining investigations, puzzles, puzzles and QTEs, and of course you'll have a lot of dialogue options to take part in as well. Check it out. Again, for this price point at $370, it's pretty good. So those are the deals at GMG. Now let's move on to some Fanatical deals. It's gonna be Capcom deals, you know, the typical stuff here. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard is 65% off for $7. Like, yeah, Resident Evil 7 is awesome. You should play it at $7. It's a disgustingly good deal. There is the gold edition at $13.66, and that's a good deal as well. RE7 is the game that revitalized Resident Evil for a lot of people after, you know, Resident Evil 6 was kind of a train wreck. You know, there were other companion titles that were decent, like Revelations or Revelations 2, but Biohazard turned out to really turn the franchise around. And then, of course, you had the Resident Evil 2 remake, which just put the stamp on turning the franchise around. I mean, you're talking about a ground-up remake of a beloved game that turned out really well. I don't have that sort of nostalgic attachment towards Resident Evil 2, but as far as remakes go, this is a really well-done one. Relatively short game, but you've got 2 different playthroughs to go through, and very much a replayable game as well, much like a lot of the other Resident Evil titles. So $8.79 for that is a fantastic deal. And then we have Devil May Cry 5 and Virgil, $8.69 on this. One of the best action titles that you're gonna come across if you want fast-paced action gameplay with a banger of a soundtrack. Devil Trigger is still one of the best theme songs out of a video game, not just in an action video game or anything like that. Out of a video game, Devil Trigger is among the, you know, Metal Gear Rising tier soundtracks as far as songs go. But DMC5 is awesome. I've never been a narrative guy with Devil May Cry. Like, the narrative hasn't done it for me, but some people get super into it. So, like, yo, that might just be my opinion. That doesn't apply to a lot of other people, but DMC is like one narrative arc that I've really never got into. Like, I think the characters are cool, don't get me wrong. I think the character design is awesome, but as far as the actual world and lore, yeah, not my cup of tea. But DMC5 is awesome as an action game, so definitely check it out. And then lastly, a couple deals over at GamesPlanet, our good friends over there. SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated is 79% off for $6.25. Now, if you assess this game as just a platformer, an adventure platformer, it's like, okay, what is gonna put this game like at an elevated level is if you have a nostalgic attachment towards SpongeBob. And guess what? Like, I do, and most of my audience probably does, since you're probably around my age, and if that's the case, you probably grew up with SpongeBob, and seeing it in a fairly decent video game, and a game that a lot of people played growing up as well, that's pretty decent. It's not $30 good, but at $6.25, I think it's fairly decent. And then lastly, we have SteamWorld Dig 2, which is 74% off for $5.25. I've often mentioned it before, but the Metroidvania market is so competitive that a game at the caliber of SteamWorld Dig 2, this is a game that the critics gave like really solid reviews to, like 9 out of 10s across the board, and that made me want to check out the game. And I like the game, maybe not at that level, but I thought it was a really well designed Metroidvania game with an awesome art style and a significant improvement upon the original as well. You don't need to play the original, of course, but if you're into Metroidvania, certainly check it out. And at $5 and change, this is a great buy, so definitely give that a look. One of those Metroidvanias, much like Guacamelee, that does not get enough love. But that is going to do it for me. Again, all of these deals are outside of Steam, but for all of these deals, you will get Steam keys. It's just, you can't refund them. So, like, for the value you're getting, they're still great. And all these games are pretty decent PC versions to even excellent PC versions, like a Resident Evil 2. But, yeah, check them out. Links to everything in the description box below. And as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.